And it's now my very, very great pleasure to call on Rebecca Lekoko from Botswana. And Rebecca is going to be our moderator tonight. And I just have a few words to say because we are putting her bio into the chat. But those few words are that Rebecca is a lifelong learner and is absolutely committed and devoted to lifelong learning, both for herself and for students of all ages. She's always been involved with advocating for the focus on vulnerable groups, such as people with disabilities, older adults, and disadvantaged youth. And she has a lot of experience in terms of education, research, publications, and has recently joined the Pass It On network. And we have a very active and lively Southern African network of the Pass It On network. And several of our members are here, like Linda and Christine, and of course, Beatrice. So I'd just like to say we're going to have this, Rebecca is handling the whole running of this thing, and I'm going to hand over to Rebecca right now. Rebecca, can you take over, please?
Thank you, Moira. I'm now taking over the vote. I think I should also start by just encouraging all of us to mute so that the discussion can go on smoothly. Let me first of all start by saying that this is a moment when we should really be excited because we are going to talk about something that we love dearly. Just appreciating who we are and talking about no one else but ourselves. When you know who you are, you can dream, be excited of what more to come about yourself. Today, we talk about the first person authority, that is self-knowledge of older persons. We can better define who we are, understand better what we need most, appreciate others for who they are, and be appreciated for who we are. The dialogue today speaks to the need to know that I am who I am, and I have a potential to take on new opportunities with more to come. You will all agree with me that if you know who you are, nobody will make you feel shy or apologetic when you talk about who you are. Self-knowledge and self-love is everything that can make us unite meaningfully, as no one's identity is compromised. Interestingly, when you talk about I am who I am, the essence is Ubuntu, expressed neatly by our late Archbishop Desmond Tutu, who said, you can't exist as a human being in isolation. We can only be human together. May his soul rest in peace. This unity is strengthened by understanding each other. And today we are saying, we need to know who we are as older persons and be appreciated by others for who we are. The slogan, nothing for us without us, is true today. The older person for whom we are providing care to, delivering services, and even just engaging in dialogue with, has a very strong positive self-concept. This is true to consider as we wish to empower and support older persons towards their visions of tomorrow. To live together in harmony, we need to understand each other so that we can accept each other, respect each other, care for each other, be gentle to each other, be friendly and compassionate. This self-acknowledgement and Ubuntu approach is key in understanding older persons and what makes them take delight in a new day despite some challenges. Today, we have the pleasure of having 3 remarkable speakers who will each tell a story in 3 minutes. Then we open up for comments and questions. I will introduce each speaker with one adjective that resonates with who they are to me. Meanwhile, Osnat, please place their bios in the chat so that we can look at their bios, because we wouldn't have time to read their beautiful bios. But just to say that one of the speakers will be Jen Hively, and she is a social entrepreneur, and she earned her PhD at the age of 60 in 2001. She has co-founded 3 positive aging networks, including the Pass It On. Another one is Cullen Hayashida. Trained as an academic, he has had the opportunity to help to propose, build, and assess elder care services in Hawaii. And over the past 40 years plus, he has been involved in developing over 50 elder care services projects. The other one is Beatrice Sithole, who is a publisher, an author, a motivational speaker. She's the founder of the Power of Touch. And I've promised you that I'm going to be using just one adjective to describe each one of them. Dr. Cullen is a septuagenarian. Beatrice Sithole, a sexagenarian, and Jen Hively, a no-nonagenarian. We are so glad to have these speakers, and their bios are there in the chat. Please read and see the remarkable job and the remarkable work that these speakers are doing. I'm really excited and overjoyed to give our speaker time to excite us. And I'm going to start with Jen. Jen, can you tell us, how does your current age define who you are today and who you will be tomorrow? Jen,
Good.
please.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much, Rebecca. It's been such a pleasure to get to know you. I am who I am, and I am Jen Hively. And last month I had this momentous birthday, which was my 90th birthday. So I still have to figure out exactly who I am in my 90s. And that's what it's all about. I do feel actually that I am all of my ages, moving from one transition to another, each transition generating new perspectives. In adolescence, for example, I was a scholarship kid. I got to go to a great prep school, a great college, all paid for by good people who, because I got good grades, but there I was always with my hands behind my back. I was scared to death because I didn't know how to talk in a social gathering. Then I was a parent, and of course I remember very well identifying as a Girl Scout leader. I then had a series of wonderful jobs with great supervisors who provided great support for me in city planning and schools and district planning, and as deputy mayor, all in Minnesota, a great open society, I think. My focus has been on work itself, the meaning of work, thinking about productivity, teaching skills, habits, and attitudes related to productivity, and shifting then to thinking about the productivity of older adults that is unseen because it's unpaid, because unfortunately in this society here, employment is what counts, and how much money you make is what counts. But instead, we want to think about the productivity that's unseen: grandparenting, caregiving, volunteering. Collaboration was then my focus after my official retirement, which was in the year 2000, building grassroots community networks with older adults during the last 20 years. So now at 90, it's another time of transition, preparing for decline, but loyal to meaningful work, paid or unpaid, until the last breath, which is my mantra. So we have mental issues because I am besieged by distractions. There's too much up here. And there are physical issues, which I try to combat. I was in water in the swimming pool this morning with water aerobics, for example. But even so, I have reduced capacity to focus and organize details. So it's time to pass on organizational responsibilities. But it's also time to be closer to family. We moved here to take care of a couple of cousins. One of the, in the sequence, both now have passed away. There are no relatives here. My daughter is in Seattle and my granddaughter is in Portland, Oregon. And I'm thinking about making a change to be closer to family. My partner, Tom Lacey, will go with me, fortunately. And we're planning to move to Portland, Oregon, which is where one of the people here, Jay Bloom, is located. I know that, knowing Jay and others there, that there's a lot of good work in planning and in age-friendly community. But it's time to also be thinking about what's next in my life, to be able to prepare for having greater security as I prepare for death, which presumably will happen soon. But you see, I've been a kid all my life because I have a sister 10 years older. That means that she's going to be 100 years old this coming Sunday. And so because I'm 10 years younger, I'm still a kid. I just want you to know that. They used to call me Baby Janet. And so, you know, who knows? But it's time for new adventures. And the main thing is, what is my commitment? What is my ikigai, as Cullen would talk about it? Where is the power of purpose and passion? It's in doing things differently and the power of regeneration. It is in working with other generations to foster what happens next, years down the line, 7 generations down the line. And it's a time for giving up a sense of self and taking on a sense of identity based upon our interconnectedness with the web of all living things. Thank you.
Wow, 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 wow. Thanks so much, Jen. Who will have described you the way you have described yourself? Now at least we know who you are. And you know, it was so flowing and so interesting that it felt like you shouldn't stop. You should go on and on and on so that people know exactly who Jen is. It was such a beautiful story. We are, let me encourage all of us as our speakers go on. If you have something, a comment, a question, the chat box is there. Please let us put them in our chat box so that we allow all our speakers to speak, and so that we get the gist of who these people are, a sense of self, a sense of knowing who I am, pride, and even knowing I'm here, but I'm also looking into the future, and I can see where I'm going. Jen, this was beautiful. Can I call Cullen, please? Can we unmute, please? Cullen, you're muted.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. You can go ahead.
Okay. Okay. All right. Let's see now. I think it's difficult to talk to a group of people that are older than myself. I'm 76 right now, and I'm probably one of the younger ones in this group here. But I wanted to share just a little bit with regards to, you know, following up on what Jan was sharing, that with age, we become more familiar with the fact that, you know, life is finite and that we're not going to be around forever. But there were several things that have been important. But I guess some of the important concept that I've picked up over time has been things like the longevity bonus, 20 to 30-year additional bonus that we can expect after 65 plus. The fact that there's a difference between lifespan and health span, and that we have to continue to try to reduce our unhealthy years so that we can live long and die short. That there's a very important emphasis that we need to place on self-identity, as was pointed out, and that we've got to push back on ageism. And so these are important parts of the journey that I've gone through. I wanted to kind of share a little bit very quickly about my life story, in a sense. I come from a low-income family. We had a family of 8 of us living in a small 2-bedroom home. I, did newspaper routes to basically help the family income and to also use that to buy my own bike. But growing up, I used to get into a lot of troubles doing all sorts of pranks and just having fun along the way. Of course, never knew that I was really that poor. But in any case, during my early years, from as far as a religious background is concerned, it was very eclectic. I went to a Protestant church. I went to a Catholic church. My parents were Buddhists, so I attended Buddhist services, Shinto services, which is another form of religion associated with Japanese heritage. So it was very eclectic. My mother used to tell me, just go to church and learn the values. There was a time when I became much more interested in religion, particularly when, of all things, I started taking physics and started learning about cosmology, and I looked at the universe and thought, gee, this thing is quite complex, and yet it seems to be something that has some structure and order. And so I kept asking questions, and one of a friend of mine had suggested that I go to church. So these were things that were involved with my search for an understanding with regards to how things operated and why things were the way they were, and where I fitted in this whole history of things. This was also a time when there was Vietnam War was going on. There was anti-war protests. There were a lot of concerns with regards to urban poverty. I got involved with many of those sorts of things. I also got involved with trying to address urban poverty and with my work in New York City and in some parts of the island of in Hawaii as well. And there were some training that I got involved with Peace Corps training and so on. So there was a search for identity that was always part of my life. I did go to my education at the university. Basically had a lot to do with my search for identity. My master's thesis was basically a kind of a sociological analysis with regards to the religious experience that I had gone through. So I used that basically to try to I determine who I was. My doctoral dissertation was related to my experience with race relations and my search for identity. And so my work with my doctoral dissertation was really the understanding of racism in Japan, which was basically part of my heritage. So, and during which time, of course, I picked up the language. There was educational opportunities, or not just educational opportunities, but employment opportunities at different universities that I attend. I was at on the U.S. mainland, but eventually we came back to Hawaii, and this was due to some conditions that my daughter had with allergies and air pollution in cities that we were living in. And so we came back to Hawaii and did not have a job. But there was an opportunity by one geriatric hospital to hire me, and they provided me with an opportunity to learn about gerontology. And this was back in the late 1970s. And so I worked at geriatric hospitals, trying to learn about how we could basically address some of the concerns that the hospital had in terms of building infrastructure with the community so that we could improve the flow of patients back into the community. I worked at a nursing home as well as a nursing administrator, and tried to build a nursing home as a teaching nursing home, just like as we have teaching hospitals. And so over the course of many years, I was able to work in different locales and different facilities, and also worked in Japan as well, in terms of trying to build that understanding with regards to gerontological work in Japan and Asia and Europe as well. So now that I'm 76, I have, perhaps 10 years, maybe a little longer to live. And how do I increase my lifespan, my health span? And now I can kind of begin to realize that there is a certain amount of understanding that I have with regards to gerontology. So now I do know that my focus will be on education, will be in writing and in speaking, and in working with community development on active aging, but also spending time with family and having some fun along the way. So when I think about my purpose, as was pointed out, the word that is often used in Japanese is called ikigai, and I can think in terms of with the time that I do have left, and maximize the utility of my life in terms of being useful to matter and to make a difference. I see an emphasis over time in terms of helping others find their purpose through my teaching and my writing. Second, I find a purpose in promoting older adults as an asset to their community. Another purpose, of course, is to love and support my family and also to have fun. But I cannot achieve my purpose unless I attend to some facets of active aging. And when I talk about that, I'm talking about things like, being physically fit and socially fit and mentally fit and financially fit and so on. So these, I focus on purpose, but I need to basically attend to the facets of active aging. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Cullen. You can see that he was talking about a journey on a search for identity. And by the way, listening to him and listening that he wants to go on and on and on is telling you that he is still on a search, on identifying himself. And I guess he will get there. And it was very interesting listening to him to know that when you search for who you are, you're searching for your identity. You search almost everywhere. Education is there, the family is there, friends are there, the church is there. You really search. But one day you get to know who I am. And I am not saying, Cullen, that you don't know who you are. I'm saying it's very interesting because we can see that the search is still continuing. That's why we could give you the whole day. You can continue your search and tell us about yourself. Thank you so much. That was an intriguing story and very, very interesting. I'm going to go straight to Beatrice.
Thanks, Rebecca.
Thank you.
I am who I am. I'm super excited to share with everyone on the platform on I am who I am. I'm 67, turning 68 in August. I'm at a stage in life where I really reflect at my life, the way I've come from and where I am now. After my A levels, I did my diploma in management and accounting. After that, I worked in the government for 20 years. Then I retired. When I retired, I decided to then start just doing work with senior citizens. I looked around and I saw that so many senior citizens had just retired without plans, and they were stuck at their homes. They didn't have anything to do. That's where, when POT was founded, I thought that I would encourage senior citizens to get together and just have a cup of tea and share their ideas and share their experiences. I am at a stage where I'm excited to be who I am, to show it without apologizing. I am enjoying the freedom of sharing my true colors, mindful of other people's feelings. Through POT and through my relationship with Pass It On Network, I've learned to be a go-getter. When I was invited to talk about that topic of what was it, Jan? The topic on the UN open-ended group.
Yes, the Working Group on Aging.
Yes.
And the, yes. And
yes.
I think you also spoke to the high-level policy forum.
Yes, the policy to have a ministry. I mean, that's where I got the idea that why don't we ask our governments to have ministries for senior citizens? I know already 7 countries have got ministries, but I was excited and I went for it. I went and saw the president, and while I cannot say we've got a ministry in Zimbabwe for senior citizens, but I'm happy to share with everyone here that we have had good results where we are seeing a lot of changes and where senior citizens are being mentioned constantly on radio or on television by the president. And so I am who I am, enjoying the journey of sharing with others, of being helpful to others, and on things like integrity. I look at myself, I'm at a stage where I look at myself with respect and self-respect and respect for others. I'm at a stage where I'm trying to be honest, fair and responsible, truthful and upright, just being the right person and just sharing with me the right person that I want people to be, other people to see in me. And even especially youths, I also enjoy just sharing and seeing the youths and seeing how we can work together as the senior citizens, sharing with them what we can do and what we know. I am who I am, and I'm at a stage where I look at myself in the mirror with love and respect. At the person who is looking back at me, knowing that the person in the mirror has traveled a long journey with its many ups and downs, and that person is still standing. This is why I have so much respect for the person I look at in the mirror. I enjoy exercising. I love people, both the young and old. I enjoy having walks, just enjoying the nature, hearing the birds singing. I'm at a stage where I enjoy even to learn continuously. And with Pass It On Network, I'm finding it very easy to learn because the people involved in Pass It On Network, especially the co-founders, and Osnat, thank you so much. She spent almost a whole night teaching me a few things, and I enjoy learning. So I am who I am because I've got the patience with myself, just enjoying the journey. I'm at a stage when I'm not scared to grow old. I'm at a stage where I am thinking growing old is a treasure and it's a blessing. So for me, I am who I am because I enjoy gaining knowledge or skills through formal or informal activities. I love sharing knowledge, as I said earlier on, and my skills and experiences and wisdom. Networking with like-minded organizations locally and internationally. That is who I am. I think that's all for now. Thank you so much. I love you all.
Wow, 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 wow. That's another story, people. I guess today we are actually getting who these people are, who these people are. Beatrice, yes, we know you're bold. You know, you don't apologize when you want to do something and you are who you are. I really like to when you say, when you look yourself in the mirror, you say, wow, I like this girl. Because this is who I am. And this is how I'm going to be carrying myself through. And this is what I'm going to be saying to people. Wow, that's very, very important for us to really, really feel and appreciate and accept who we are. And hearing from the three wonderful speakers who can now tell us that someone else can come and define who we are. No, I wouldn't have defined Jen the way she defined herself. I wouldn't have defined Cullen the way he defined himself. I wouldn't even dare to come close to what Beatrice was saying about herself. This is just all wonderful people. And I am who I am. And I guess wherever you are who you are. But the most important thing is that together we unite to make the human race Ubuntu. Because you know you are who you are because there is someone close to you who is helping you to define who you are. This is just so beautiful. And I guess what we need to do is now look at our chart and see if there are some questions there. If no questions, we are going to be asking those with questions too. Ask the questions if they feel like asking questions. I'm just going to start from the beginning and look at the chart. I am seeing Connie here in LA, USA, not able to change with my name. Oh, because you are on the iPad. But I guess the most important thing is that you have headers. I'm not going to go into the bios because we have read the bios ourselves. We have Johannes, who has given us the details about himself, because remember, this is one way of also networking. You are going to be from here, knowing who the other person is, then networking is going to be so very easy. And I have my friend, Lona Kizitile, Professor Kizitile is my friend here at Baisa, who is saying, you go girl. I don't know who is the girl is talking to, whether it's referring to Jen or referring to Beatrice, but we are going girl. We are going there. We know where we're going. And someone is saying, Jen, someone is saying, nice to know more about you, Jen. And someone is saying, be a kid as long as you live. This is beautiful. Why can't be a child as long as I live? Because I was born a child and I'm still someone's child. So why can't be a child as long as I live? And someone is saying, very inspiring story, Jen. And Jen, you continue to be such an amazing role model to me and to others. I look forward to being inspired by you for many years to come. And we have more things.
Why don't we ask people who are participants here
Yes.
to hold up their hands and talk. Morgan had some wonderful comments in the chat.
Okay. So yes, thank you, Jen, for that. I was just going to read some and then ask them to do exactly what we are saying we should ask them. I think people, we have seen the chart and we have read what others are saying, and this is the time for us, those who want to say something. You said Megan has something interesting to say. Megan?
Megan, yes.
Yes. Hi, Rebecca. Hi,
Megan.
Jan. Hi, everyone. I'm just so
Megan.
excited. I'm just so excited listening to the stories that I hear.
Oh, it's a.
You know what? These people who are over 65 actually have high self-esteem, sense of worth, self-confidence, high self-efficacy, and all the life skills that we are required to possess, even from a young age. And to see that people over 65 still have those life skills is
Unfortunately.
in the
Oh, unfortunately, Megan, I think the internet where you are is so weird. Yes, you can continue.
Oh, you couldn't hear me.
Yes, we couldn't.
I was actually acknowledging the life skills people, older people have, that I was saying it's exciting and it's actually encouraging for the younger ones to develop those life skills and also aim higher with high self-efficacy, high self-esteem, and to be proud to get older. And it will actually also make us have less ageism, because we appreciate what the older people are doing and how confident they are, and their willingness to share their stories with others. It's quite encouraging, especially for the younger generation. So thank you guys for that.
Thank you so much, Megan. Any other person who want to say? There's someone from Cape Town who is
Terry
saying,
Cruz from
Yes.
Hawaii wanted to.
yes, thank you. From Hawaii.
Yeah, hi. Look, hi. I'm very fortunate in that I'm a 16-year-old whiz kid with 59 years experience, and having very early in my life decided what I wanted to be was an inventor. And for the last 59 years, I've done that. And what I find now is that my inventions are getting better and quicker. And it's certainly a function of experience. And you know, over my time, I've created a stack of products, including the first laptop back in 1982. Right now, I'm dedicated to leaving a legacy for my generation of technology that lets us live better, longer at home, but more importantly, not be a burden on the family whilst we're living at home. And it's one of the lessons I learned in looking after my grandparents, my parents, and my wife's parents and sisters, that the strain it puts on the family with us aging, and most of it comes down to not knowing what's happening. And so my technology I've created now is making sure that passively we can advise the family what we're doing, so people can see that I'm in the shower, on the toilet, in bed, watching TV. And if I happen to have a fall, people get alerted to that. And so I'm very busy creating products in Hawaii, and I just love it in Hawaii. And I've never been so creative that, you know, in the last 2 years, we've created 4 world first new products for healthy aging. So live the dream, and nothing's impossible. And one experience I had of ageism is that a couple of years back, I was presenting to a venture capitalist in Silicon Valley, a young 26-year-old recent Harvard graduate. And 5 minutes into the presentation, he said, "Stop, you're too old to innovate." And I said, "Son, before you were born, I'd invented the first laptop. Knowledge without wisdom is dangerous. Goodbye," and walked out.
Right.
Oh, that's interesting, Terry. Very interesting. Nothing is impossible. We know that nothing is impossible, and you will never be too old to invent as long as you are alive. Thank you so much. Any other person, please? We still have some few minutes.
I would just like to say something here. I love the Southern African Pass It On network, and we've been doing something very interesting there. And this is all something that happened between Beatrice and David and Tom. And that's all I want to say. One of those three can step up and just say what we've been doing there. Tom? Tom Holloway, are you there? And David, I saw you come in. Well, Beatrice, you're going to have to tell them quickly.
Oh,
Just
okay.
very quickly about the U3A.
That's fine. Yes, U3A, Tom is doing a fantastic job, you know, putting together U3A. We have realized that in Africa, U3A, having it on Zoom is quite a challenge. So we are taking the WhatsApp group, and Tom has started that with us in Zimbabwe, and we have done it since January, and this is our second month, and it's working perfectly for us. So the three of us, Jan, Moira, me and Tom and David, we are trying to work on a Southern African U3A chat group, especially the WhatsApp one. And I'm sure it will work out fine because Tom is working flat out to assist. I believe Botswana is already on, Megan or Rebecca?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. Yes, so I think it's something to look forward to, especially in Southern Africa. And so many thanks to you, Moira, for spearheading, for pushing for this. Thank you very much. I'm sure very soon it will be all over in Southern Africa.
True,
and
so
beyond.
yes, true. So Tom is really willing to help, and I guess we will be somewhere, even in Botswana. We just started with him, and it's really helping us. Yeah. Thank you, Fiona. You have your hand up.
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm called Fiona Wamala. I'm participating from Stuttgart in Germany, but I actually come from Uganda. I think I had a little chat with Moira a few years ago. I was recommended to her by Helen Zidibagwa from Uganda, who is also a partner for Pass It On Network. I think for that is having projects in Uganda, helping kids and orphans and I'm forgetting the English name of a lady that loses their husband. That my German is spoiling all my English. Sorry. Yeah. So I'm just calling in to appreciate the chance that I've been given to participate in this Zoom meeting. I've really learned a lot. I am a geriatric nurse here in Germany, and I work a lot with older adults. And I'm really glad that I've taken chance to hear from all the presentations from the different presenters. I've been noting down everything, and I'm ready to share that when I go to work. And also, I wish for such a thing in Uganda. For some few years ago, I started up something with a friend of mine called Granny Care Uganda that had the same goals and objectives that I had different speakers share here. But unfortunately, because I'm away from home, I kind of stopped the project because there was no one on ground. But I'm revived and I'm encouraged to continue again and to keep on pushing until I see such a community that is supporting adults in Uganda, because it's one of the fields that is totally forgotten. The government has totally forgotten about it, and the old adults there and the grandparents there have no voice at all and need encouragement and so many things to bring them back to communities and life, and for them to see a value in themselves, because most of them down there are hopeless. And I wish and hope that someday in one of the Zoom meetings I'm presenting that the adults in Uganda have also a certain group or corporation or community that is helping them, encourage them in life, and see to it that they appreciate themselves more. That's it. Thank you very much. And I'm happy to participate again the next time such a meeting is called. Greetings. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Fiona. You are an inspiration to see a young girl like you saying, I want the voices of those people in the community to be heard. And I guess you'll be encouraged and you will reach your goals one day. Thanks so much. Michelle?
I just unmute myself here. I wanted to say this is my first time attending one of these Zoom meetings, and it is just so inspiring. I just can't tell you how inspiring it is. I'm a geriatrician, retired. I did wait till I was 70 to retire because I was enjoying so much what I was doing. I've always taught medical students and whatever. So when I retired, I got into trying to continue that in terms of healthy aging. And so I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do in this retirement place that I'm in. But it's got to be with teaching and helping older people or even younger people to realize that you can age very healthily, as other of the speakers have said. I've been doing triathlon since I was 60 and really feel good about that, and have a lot of fun with that. I'm not doing as many as I used to do, but still a couple a year. And so it's fun being an older triathlete, actually, because there's fewer of you in each competition. But anyways, so yes, I started off giving some talks at senior centers about healthy aging and healthy eating. And but then COVID hit and the sort of face-to-face opportunities went. So I'm still exploring how I can do that. I'm sick of the whole, well, we won't get into that. But anyway, I want to get back to face-to-face presentations without all the impediments in front of our faces. So I've got to work my way through that. But it's just, so I'm still figuring out what I'm doing in a sense, but I feel like I have a path, but it's a little foggy right now. I can't quite see, the steps ahead, but everything that everyone has said is just so inspiring. It's going to keep me going forward and looking for where my foot needs to go down next on the path. So thank you all very much. And yeah, let's keep doing what we're doing.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Yes, the journey will not stop. And once you take that journey, new opportunities will come and challenges will come. But as long as you have that purpose and passion, you will find where to focus. And we are hopeful that in the next 50-50, you'll be telling us the story of, now I got it and I know what I'm doing. Do that. Thank you so much. Anyone? There is this, Edwin, do you want to share? I recently had to look up average life expectation for a class I teach and thought I'll share it here. Edwin, are you there to share? Edwin seems not to be here. But
Sorry, I am. Sorry.
yes.
I was muted. So, you know, I nothing really else to add. I just happened to needed to look up those stats for a class I teach, and just I thought it was interesting, the trajectory. Not surprising, but just, you know, in case anyone hadn't looked that up recently.
Thank you, Edwin. Are you done?
Sure. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Osnat, we have some few minutes left. Bruce, please, you can go on.
Hi, everyone. So happy to see you all today. Great hearing your voices too. I just was reflecting as everyone was talking. I wrote a book a number of years ago, 10 years ago, called What Should I Do with the Rest of My Life, that profiled people who did things I thought were significant after the age of 60. And last night, one of those people that I profiled is a woman named Betty Reed Soskin. And Betty was about 89 when I first wrote about her. She was then had become an activist and forced the US Department of National Parks Department to rethink how it was interpreting the history of homeland during World War II in the United States, so that it made her an interpreter of National Park in Oakland, California. Betty turned 100 this year, and Betty, during COVID, started offering 1-hour virtual tours of the Homeland Park. And I posted on that last night, and I just keep thinking, when I interviewed her 11 years ago and she was 89, I thought, this is no one can go on this way. But here she is, 100 years old. She's mastered technology. She's forging it. She's interpreting history for younger generations, and she's active. So, you know, all I can say is there really are the limits are not quite what we sometimes imagine them to be. And that's all. I just wanted to add that because I can't get it out of my mind that Betty is still going strong. And I encourage you all to look up Betty Reed Soskin if you don't believe me. And lastly, I did put in the chat to say that if anyone has joined the Global Connector and wants help, either understanding, being oriented, getting your image up or anything, just contact me. My email's in there and I'll help you. And lastly, that the Life Planning Network, which is a partner organization with Pass It On, has a virtual meeting on Thursday. And Bradley Sherman, who just published a book called Super Age and is a demographic futurist, he worked for AARP for 17 years, is presenting, and we welcome you all there. Just send me your, just send me your contact and I'll make sure you get an invitation.
Okay, this is beautiful. And you are just, you know, summarizing what we said. No one can know your limit but yourself. So we do not have limits. We have potentials. And it's only us who can know our potential. This is beautiful, Bruce. I want Grace, Cape Town, please.
Can somebody mute?
Can someone mute, please? Who is saying?
Effervescent spray cleaners. This is Moira. I just wanted to say that in the social media, we've seen a woman of 102 in Nigeria who's so fed up with the politics there that she's going to stand for president.
Yes, I saw that.
102. That's wonderful.
So, this is amazing, and this is what we are saying. She feels that if I can get there, yes, I will make a difference, and this is who she is. Thank you. Someone had his hand up. Grace, Cape Town.
Thank you, Rebecca, for offering me this opportunity. I wasn't actually planning to say anything this evening, but hearing what everyone else has said has inspired me to share with you an initiative that's been going through my mind for some time, and which I'm planning to start for the University of the Third Age here in Cape Town. I'm going to be offering a course which I'm calling Climate Consciousness. And it's way out of my traditional knowledge base, which is basically in the social sciences. But the last couple of years, I somehow have felt the need and the inspiration to learn about the existential challenges which our planet is faced with and what humankind is faced with at the moment. And somehow my duty to do what I can in my personal capacity, as well as motivating other people, to look into our present habits of consumption and work out some feasible way in which we can continue to enjoy life on this planet without exploiting the natural resources so that we actually damage the balance of the planet that we're living in. So seeing as we are talking about knowing ourselves and our capacity to change and reorientate, I thought I would share this new adventure with you. I'm very nervous about entering into a new arena, but the worst that can happen is I'll fail and I'll still be here having tried. Yes. So thanks, Rebecca.
Thank you so much, Grace. Thank you. I guess you're going to share with us that course with, because all of us now, we have that U3A platforms. And then if you put it in your platform, I think you won't mind some of us, like sharing.
Okay, thank you, Rebecca. I'll do that.
Yes, yeah. Thank you a lot. May I kindly remind you that as we go on, please look at the chat. There is a link for the feedback, and we'll really appreciate that. And there's also a link for reflection on your own with others, if you want to do that, the reflection sheet. And we will appreciate those two links to be acted on, because that is feedback for this conversation. And we really want your feedback, because it can even help us as we go ahead and we think of other discussions. So that is the chart. There it is on the chart. And I will really, 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 like I'm saying, appreciate the feedback from you, from all of you can. This is almost, is it a minute after? And we said, those who feel like, because we said this is going to take 1 hour, and you have some pressing issues you want to leave us, it is okay, because this is recorded and you will get the recording of everything that transpired. But we still have 15 minutes, about 10 minutes to go on with those who are still around to go on. And also, if you have something to say, and Moira, please, you can add right now.
The links in the chat, and it will take you to wonderful places.
It's very important for us to have your feedback. It makes a big difference. It really does. But
Moira, what's in April?
What's in April? What our next 50-50 is going to be really, really, very interesting indeed. It's going to be talking about work, but not work as we generally think about work. It's going to be talking about work, the work of regeneration. And we're going to have two speakers. The one is Jan, and Jan is going to talk about her idea and her notion and her understanding of work and the meaning of production. And it's a very deep discussion. And then secondly, we're going to have Kathy Bailey, who's living through an experience that thousands and thousands and thousands of people around the world, if not millions, are living through. In other words, she had a very good job before COVID, and COVID came along, and she got furloughed, I think the word is. And it's the adventure that she's been living and is living right now that she's going to share with us, and how this has affected her whole way of looking at not only work, but of her entire life. And it's going to be really fascinating. And that's going to take place then on the 23rd of March, the 21st of March, and at exactly the same time. So you'll be getting a notice for registration in the very near future.
I just wanted to mention more what Grace just said from Cape Town really is part of the theme, which is that to have a new perspective given the huge issues that are facing us, how we can move to, thanks to our interconnectedness and thanks to collaboration, to really make a difference for the generations who are coming along. That what Grace's realization is, and education, talking about climate change, for example, is part of that. Kathy Bailey, I think, is her own work with moving into virtual reality and into a different relationship with the earth, I think is really important. That all of these inspiring activities are really going to be the subject for the next month's 50-50 conversation on March 21st. Jackie Stark has her hand up, by the way.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that the topic for this year's International Day of Older Persons for this year is climate change and also older women.
Good.
So Grace's topic is very, very relevant for that.
And what's the date for that, please?
The 1st of October.
Can you put a link into the chat, Jackie, if you have one?
Yeah, okay. I don't have a link yet, but I know that the topic was just mentioned, and there'll be people from the NGO Committee on Aging in New York. That's Erica Dar, who's the organizer. And in Geneva, it's probably Sylvia. And in Vienna, we're going to discuss that tomorrow, because I'd like to be involved with that, because a colleague of mine is the chair of the Sustainable Development Goals, and they're very much into climate change. Okay, so the link between climate change and older persons is going to be out there for this year's IDO, International Day of Older Persons, October 1st. And it will be definitely sponsored by the UN. Okay. UN DESA, okay? But I don't have any links at the moment. I'll see what I can do. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Are you okay, Moira? There is
I think Grace is your hand up.
Sorry, yes. Could I just quickly correct something? I noticed that I put in the chat that the course is called Conscious Aging. But that was the course that I've been running for 15 years for U3A. The course that I'm planning now to run is actually climate consciousness.
Consciousness. Okay.
So I'm going from conscious aging to climate consciousness.
Right.
I just wanted to point that out to you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share what I'm doing.
Thank you so much, Grace, for that. Moira, I was saying there's a comment in the chat box. Perhaps someone can, if someone has any knowledge, you say, Rebecca, seeing the word Ubuntu on handout led me to look it up again. In the Wikipedia description of Ubuntu social work, I see that according to citation 33, Ubuntu is the 2020-2030 theme for the global agenda for social work and social development. I'm curious whether anyone has particular knowledge and experience about how this is playing out. Anyone with anything? I'm not aware of that. Really, I haven't looked at that. Is there anyone aware of it, of this 2020-2013 theme for the Global Agenda for Social Work and Social Development?
I don't know. Could we look to Jackie for further information?
All right. Good evening, everybody, or good afternoon, good morning from Nigeria, Lagos.
Ah, hello, David.
How are you? It's good to hear everyone speak. So sorry I came late. I know that Moira called my name with respect to University of Third Age, and myself, Tom, Moira, and Beatrice. I think those are the 4 people on the platform for U3A. Well, U3A began in Lagos, Nigeria in 2019, and it's moved on very well. I must say, we have over 11 to 15 groups now that are running U3A successfully, thanks to Tom all the way, and thanks to Moira, who has been pushing. We've had several courses, modules that we've been running also on that platform. But the most interesting thing is that the modules we have are very flexible modules. Like tourism now, we have a train ride from one state to another state in which we got to know about our cultural values, norms, and so on and so forth. Then we have modules that runs through agriculture, that runs through mathematics, and so on and so forth. Then we now set up a WhatsApp group that Beatrice mentioned earlier on. And I think there's a WhatsApp group that we're trying to look at now on U3A, which is Africa Alliance. If I'm right, Beatrice, Moira, you can please just correct me.
Yeah.
Is it, it has to do with African Alliance, U3A Africa Alliance. So if you're from Africa and you want to be a part of the Africa Alliance for U3A, please, you can come on board with us. We welcome you. And we are looking at having our conference next year, U3A conference for all Nigerians that are part of the group. Then looking at the synergy that is going on now, we have National Senior Citizen Center, which is being championed by our own Director General in the person of Dr. M.M. Omokaro. She's been doing a wonderful job with the new center that has been created and established by the Nigerian government. And she's willing to work with University of Third Age in Nigeria, not only in Lagos. So these are the things that we are working on for now, and we'll see the way to collaborate with Pass It On Network and other organizations that want to come on board with us. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, David.
Thank you so much, David. Moira, I think this is the time when we should be saying thank you to participants. And I'm now handing over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you to everybody for being present. And I am going to repeat what that we'd love you to fill in the survey. And if you want to question yourself about who you are and where you are, please have a look at the document that we prepared for you. And we really look forward to meeting you next in 1 month's time on this fabulous subject of the work of generativity. And I think that's all for tonight. It's now 8:15.
Maura, I just want to make one comment. I've been trying to copy the address for the feedback sheet, and I don't seem to have any success doing that. How do we get that?
You click on it, not copy it.
Click on it.
Click on it and it will open in another.
Oh, it will open. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And you know, if it's going to take you what, 2-3 minutes to fill it in?
Is that what's called the reflection worksheet?
No, so the reflection worksheet is the reflection worksheet if you want to continue the work that we did in the past hour. And above it, there's another link that is called forms, something like that. And it takes you to the feedback sheet.
Okay.
So I'm going to put that by itself now in chat. You can you can look at it. It's called "We Would Love Having Your Feedback." and there's a link. And if you click on the link, it will take you to the feedback form.
Okay.
And Osnest, what do you reckon? 3-4 minutes to fill it in?
Well, it depends how thoughtful people want to be. You can say
Okay.
yes, no, black, white, but you can also write a long paragraph. So I would say do it while it's fresh in your mind.
That's right.
So, and
Right.
even if we close the Zoom call, it's still going to be there.
Fine. Well, I'd just like to, before we close, thank Rebecca very much for being our moderator.
Bruce had a very good point.
Sorry.
If you want to save the chat, you go all the way to the bottom of the chat, and there's a little smiley face there and 3 dots next to it.
No.
And if you click on the 3 dots, it will save the chat. At the same time, I'm also going to save the chat, and we can send it to you in a follow-up email.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to go. Good. So just repeat then, thank you so much, Rebecca, for leading us this evening. It's been a great adventure, and we've all learned a lot. Thank you so much to Jan. Thank you so much to Cullen. And thank you so much to Beatrice.
Thank you very much.
And Osnet, if you just talk for 2 seconds, I just want to show something.
Yeah.
Right, I just want to share my screen for just 3 seconds because something so exciting happened today, and I must let you see it as well.
Okay.
Do you still want us around?
Yes, are you seeing my screen?
Yes.
Well, look at what happened this morning. Jan got recognized by the Encore Network as one of 46 outstanding people who have been doing and who are doing things to change everybody's perception about aging.
Including some
Isn't that wonderful?
Including the Botswana network. So
exactly, and we pass it on network, get the benefit of Jan's aura.
Wow, congratulations, Jan.
Yeah, I know.
Congrats, Jan.
all that you have to do is live this long, right?
Can you put that in the chat box for us to copy?
If I tried to copy the photograph and I spent so much time and I just couldn't succeed. But what you can do is just, if you go on to LinkedIn, to my LinkedIn, it's there with the text. But we just altered the text a little bit. We changed that. So we said Jan has been a long driving force, not put it in a kind of present tense. And I changed the spelling of my name, which was incorrect. But we are so proud of you, Jan.
Thank you.
Yes.
Really, you're a mentor to all of us. You give us the guidance and the lead, and you're fantastic.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
The heroes are all here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Moira, for sharing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
March
Bye,
21st.
Beatrice.
March 21st.
Bye.